I think maybe it's a problem that you can travel 1,000 or sometimes even thousands of blocks and still be inside of the same biome, and your general scenery doesn't really change a whole lot. And then as we keep adding new biomes and new stuff, that problem just gets bigger because now the generation of the game has to account for that. Maybe they should have done more like sub biomes of existing biomes, right? Like what if there is more, like what if you're huge, like if you're gonna go the big biome route, like what if like this big dark oak forest had like a little small sub biome inside of it that had something interesting? I mean, I guess the they almost kind of sort of did that with the Pale Garden, but they made it really rare. Or what if like think of the ones that you go to more often, like a plains biome. Like maybe there should be, maybe in a, like you have a big plains biome. We're pulling out MS Paint here, guys. Like imagine you have a big plains biome, right? This is a big plains biome. It's huge. This is like, I don't know, like 2K this way, like 2,000 blocks this way, and like 1.5 thousand blocks this way. I've seen bigger, but let's just say that that's a thing. You could be walking for a long time and you'll see plains, you'll see villages. So you'll see some villages dotted around the plains biome, right? You'll see what are they called? The pillager outposts will be there in a few different places. What else do you see in a plains biome that's of any interest? That's really it, right? And then like maybe, I don't know, you don't really see a lot of interesting terrain there, but maybe some terrain stuff. My friends are discouraged from playing because of all the additions. Explain further. What do you mean? So like maybe there just needs to be some like more stuff that you coincidentally come across, right? You have all this empty space and then the space is taken up by ruined portals. Okay, you got a couple ruined portals. I would say the interest in those is very small. The villages get repetitive, but they're still fun. They're useful. The outposts, not really that great. It's not the same game they used to play. But like, what does that mean? Because it sounds like your solution to that would be that just the game should have never been updated and then just stayed the same. Because the end result of that would be way less people playing the game to play it now. But anyways, like maybe like inside of this, you need some like more sub biomes where you have these like little areas that have something different to them. Like make it more interesting. So I don't know what these things are, but like they would be something that's still plain Z, but like it's different. It looks different and it has like something interesting, something useful in it. Again, a sub biome where like it has some type of like special resources or something special spawns there. And those special resources or thing that spawns in that area is something that is cool to interact with and unique. And when you see it, you're like, oh, okay, that's good. Like I want that, right? Looks like a microbe from science class. So yeah, I don't know if that would probably be the way that based on how the game works now that they would have to go. But I think ideally just the biome should be a lot smaller. I don't understand why the biomes, like the main biomes, why do they have to be so large? So yeah, maybe like if they were to fix it, their fix would be adding back in like they need to add like a smaller biome, like world generation option or something. If there was an option for smaller biomes, I think I would pick it every time. I think I would pick it every time. Like, wouldn't you just like to see all the biomes more frequently? And then also, I don't like how they keep adding structures to the game and burying them deep underground. Why is the trial chamber underground? I understand why the ancient city is. That kind of makes sense. No, it's just, and then they had the Trail ruins underground, trial chambers underground. Everything's getting put underground. You find adversaries that become stronger as time and the map goes on, so that the strength or number of enemies goes up the more days played. I mean, I don't think that would be something that Minecraft would ever do, but like something like that could be interesting for sure. As long as, you know, you should always have that player choice of avoiding it. So it would be like, yeah, specific areas or something. I wish traveling was easier in the early game. Yeah, that's like traveling anywhere on foot is the worst. Because again, the biomes are so large, so you have to travel so far on foot to get anywhere. To actually get somewhere of interest or importance, you have to travel really far, really long on foot, and nobody wants to do that, so they typically don't. Horses are annoying because they don't go over water easily, and then again, the biomes are so large that you often have to travel over a lot of water to really get anywhere of importance. Yeah, it's just I'm convincing myself more and more of this. I think that's the biggest problem with Minecraft as like a game design perspective. I think the biomes are just way too big, and it puts everything else out of sight, out of mind, out of reach. Now that wouldn't just fix everything, like, but it like they need to more lean into doing like more good and useful things with the stuff they add into the game. Give me purpose to like interact with the things. But like when you give me no purpose, no like really strong purpose to interact with the thing, and you make the thing hard to find to interact with, that double whammy kills it. Use minecarts almost exclusively for travel because while they aren't the fastest, they are the most hands-off way to travel. Oh god, I could never do that. There should be an option to change the biome sizes and options back when console edition was. Yeah, that should exist. 100%, 1000%. And you know what? Another thing too, and I don't know, this could just be a me thing, but I think like this mentally, like people do think like this. When the biome that you're working in is so big, it makes whatever you're working on feel like it's so small, like just a perception type thing. And it can kind of make it feel like whatever the thing that you're trying to do isn't really being accomplished. Like I picture, like, what if it was the opposite scenario and the biomes were like really small, probably smaller than I would make them, but like when I'm playing the game, what I would do is I would transform the entire biome. This dark oak forest isn't a terrible example of that, actually. Hold on. Back. I forgot that I could do this to look at stuff. Like when I look at this dark oak forest, I think that this is a good size of a biome. Somebody could make a world, come into this biome, decide they want to build something in it, and they could fill a decent enough portion of the biome to where they feel like they've accomplished a project and they have enough biome around them to kind of go with what they built. Right? I think this accomplishes that very well. This is actually not a bad size either. on like the largest end of what I would consider to be, I think a biome should be. Technically it's 2 biomes, I guess. You got birch forest and then forest. And then that goes into plains here. These biomes right here, honestly, like these aren't bad. Like right around our base. But they are uninteresting, I guess. But this area is actually not bad. You have a mountain. Then you have some savanna. And you have the cherry grove. But here's where it's gonna start changing. So we went from birch forest to fir forest to plains to forest. There's some jungle there, that's fine, right? But look, forest is still going. Forest is still going. Like this is way too much forest biome, I think. And then here's a dark oak forest. Is this one too big? Dark oak forests usually aren't huge. Like this is too much. I would make this thing half the size. Respectfully disagree. When you were in the desert, do you need to see nothing but sand in all directions? It depends on your render distance, right? I don't think that a desert needs to be 4,000 blocks of nothing but desert. But yeah, look, like, and now we're just back in the regular forest again. And it just continues on and on and on. Here we're getting into spruce. Let's take a look through here. Like, if you made them too small, then yeah, it would be like this spruce forest is a decent size. Maybe it's also just in like how they all connect together too. How big should the ocean be then? I think having big ocean is fine. But like I feel like sometimes like you can have big ocean beside big ocean beside big ocean, and like you just have ocean forever. This ocean right here is okay size, I think. You know what? I'm interested enough to like, let's load up like a random seed, turn render all the way up to max and kind of go up in the air and look. I'm kind of curious what we'll get. My base is still like way out this way. Plains would also feel weird if they were small. I guess like I don't know. Let's load up a world and let's talk about it. Oh, great. This will actually be a great example. I already know, because these things usually go on forever. Wait, what am I looking for? Video settings. Crank it. 96 chunks. All right. We're going to load up everything around us. Here, let me turn clouds off. Video. No, render clouds off. And then after we load and look at this, we're going to take this random seed and we'll plug it into chunk-based biomes. And we'll kind of like look and see what type of variety there is beyond my vision. 96 chunks, render distance. Can somebody tell me how many blocks out we can see? 96 times 2, because we can any direction we look at, we can see 96 blocks out. So 96 chunks times 2 will tell me how far I can see from side to side, and then that times 16 for how many blocks. I'm just curious how many blocks out I'm able to see here. 96 times 2 times 16. It is 2,000 blocks. So you're saying from right here, I can see 2,000 blocks out from this one spot as I look around. A 2,000 block radius. Or a 2,000 block diameter. 3,000 diameter. 3,072 blocks. Okay. So 3,072 blocks. I think people would generally agree that's a lot of space, right? 3,072 blocks is a lot of space. Think about traveling 3,072 blocks on foot or on horseback. Think about traveling on foot or on horseback. We're talking about you're exploring your world, you're living in your world, you're doing stuff in your world. If we spawned here, we have ice biome all the way as far as we can see there to like here. So it's probably like what, like a couple thousand blocks long of ice biome. And then it continues out this way as far as we can see into snow, which I'll kind of count as like, it's the same. You're not changing what's happening around you very much. So it stays ice and snow all the way as far as the eye can see that way. And it does cut off over here. And then our variety outside of that is spruce forest, regular forest, regular forest, regular forest as far as we can see. A little bit of plains right there. A crap ton of ocean. It looks like savanna, maybe way out in the distance there. There's a small swamp with some plains on the other side of it. That looks like more taiga and more regular forest. That looks like more regular forest as well. I would say this. Imagine this being smaller biomes, right? Where you still have biome blending. So like you have like the ice biome and then like it blends into like frozen taiga and then cold taiga and regular, like it kind of blends out. But like been AWOL for a bit. What we're working on now. We're talking about how biomes in Minecraft are too big, and I think that's one of the biggest issues with Minecraft. But like imagine if like within this area, I feel like you should be able to see a mountain somewhere. You should be able to see a desert somewhere. You should be able to see a jungle somewhere. You should be able to see a badland somewhere. We can't see a swamp, so we're lucky in that regard. I should see some dark oak somewhere in this 3,000 block diameter that I can look. And then yeah, like I feel like that should be the case every single time you load up a world. But like yeah, sometimes there'll be an exception here and there where like, oh well, this one biome didn't make it within that range or something. Almost 13 minutes to travel a little over 3,000 blocks on foot / flat terrain. Yeah, and then you add in non-flat terrain, you add in, you know, needing food and that kind of stuff, stopping for miscellaneous things. Like it's a long time to travel, and that's just traveling in a straight line and only seeing what you can see on foot. And then change that experience from being up in the air and looking to being down here. And then like I'm going to change my my render to something that's more sensible, that is more common for a lot of people, for I would say most players to play on, which is probably somewhere around like 24 chunks. Okay. Isn't it known what parameters they use for size? Because some are big and some are small. Well, they do have a variety of like there is a range for biomes. And then I think different biomes have different like size ranges to them to some extent. Specifically with some being way smaller. And then they do have like this opportunity for like microbiomes to appear, which are kind of weird. Like I'm just thinking like as you travel the world, and I mean this is just like a very biased like thing scenario, I guess. But like, I'm just traveling. I see nothing but ice. Okay, well now I can see, at least I can see far, I guess. But like, I see nothing but ice. And then I see some trees over here, right? So maybe I start traveling towards the trees. We're going to load this up in chunk base here in a minute, because I kind of want to see just, you know, random seed on a larger scale. See like what kind of things that we can and can't see. And like, okay, I get to the taiga biome. I'm still in snow. I'm still nothing but snow. Okay, I found ice again. Like, I guess like just from a gameplay perspective, I don't understand the point of a biome, like the biomes being so large. What's consoles chunk simulation options? I'm not talking simulation, I'm talking render. I don't know. Big pointless frozen ocean. Like in the grand scheme of things, yeah. Okay, and then I hit ocean, and now I found taiga, right? And then now I have to travel across some water, but not a lot. Maybe like a lot of it, like the world is suited okay. It's still a little too big, like the biomes, and it's too spread out, but it's not terrible for elytra travel. But them making it suitable for elytra travel has also made it to where you kind of just have to have the elytra for travel. Frozen ocean, you mean ice farm? But yeah, like here we go, we're still going. Like the odds of me just, remember we backed out really far and found that swamp? What are the odds of me finding that little swamp just like randomly, like just while just being in the world? This is what they've done with the large biomes. They've made it to where it is a requirement in the game to use an external tool to find biomes, or require you to go, like you're required to go to the end, defeat the Ender Dragon, get an elytra, and get rockets to fly around with. And I don't think that should be something that you feel like you're required to do. It should just be something that you've reached end game and it's added like an additional convenience of like, hey, I can kind of get from point A to point B really quickly. Not, I have to get an elytra to explore my world. All right, what's the seed number here? I guess it doesn't matter with, you know what, we will use the seed number. Let me go to chunk base apps. Let's do seed map because that shows everything, right? All right, so here's chunk base. I wish you could like full screen this. Can I like zoom? That's better. Okay. Wait, what is this? What does that mob? What does this mob mean? Oh, okay. Ruins. We can get rid of those. Those are very uninteresting. Chests. Bury treasure. We can get rid of those because you don't see and experience those as you travel around your world. Ocean monument. You can see those. We'll leave those in. Villages. We'll leave those in. Trail ruins. You don't really see those as you travel around. I'm going to take those out. Yeah, let's take out the stuff that you don't see while you travel. Mine shaft. Trail ruins, and the stuff that's like just kind of noise, super small and doesn't impact anything. Trial chambers you don't see, fossils you don't see, villages you do, ancient cities you don't, outposts you do, monuments you do, mansions you do, portals you do. They have loot in them, we'll leave them in. Jungle temples, sure. Desert temples, sure. Witch huts, yeah. Shipwrecks, okay. Igloo, take that out. I don't know, we'll leave it in. There's probably not many. Desert wells, uninteresting, we'll take that out. Okay. Double click on map to make it bigger. Whoa! Wait. Where's... Okay, this is 100%. Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. Spawn points here. And then we're zoomed out really far. Like incredibly far. Let's zoom in. This is 4,000 blocks across. About 2,000 blocks vertical. So in this area, we have in a 4,000. No, this is plus or minus. We need to zoom in tighter. Okay, wait, this is 2,100. This is 1,100. So this is about 3,000 blocks across and only about 1,500 blocks vertically. In this area right here in our spawn, within 2,000 blocks here, I'll even zoom out one more. Within like say about 4,000 blocks, the biomes that we have are deep frozen ocean, and then oceans. So all the oceans, and that's taking up like, what would you guys say? 50, we'll say 50% of the map. So half of the map is ocean or frozen ocean. Then we have forest. There's some plains out there. So we have forest. I wish there was like a super easy way that I could like just turn it off by clicking it. Is there any shortcut for that? Let's do this. Let's count how many biomes that exist that are not in this big area. We're gonna zoom it out some. This is huge. So this is within 4,000 blocks of the player. Okay, so we have ocean. We have some plains. We have no desert. No windswept hills. We have a lot of forest. A decent amount, a lot of taiga. Swamp just on the outskirts. Rivers. Don't really count that. Frozen oceans, a big part of it. Frozen river. Snowy plains. So just plains, but snow. Snowy mountains. I can't really tell if there's any. Here, we'll just add them all in and then we'll start taking out the big ones. Let's do that. Actually, that's kind of what I'm curious about. Here, we're going to add everything in and we're going to take out the biomes that are huge and you see everywhere. Because I think the point that I want to prove here, and I'm thinking we'll prove here, is that typically you're not experiencing most of the biomes that are in the game because a lot of the biomes are just too large. So we're going to take out the biomes that are the largest and just leave in the interesting biomes. And then we're going to think about what's our odds of finding that without using something like a huge map system to find it. And it's not like I need to make this point to anybody in particular. I'm kind of curious about just seeing this myself. And then really we could just use this. We could use any seed as an example, I guess. So let's remove the most common biomes from this. The biggest, most common biomes that are like uninteresting. Let's take out ocean, plains, desert, forest, taiga. We'll take out the stuff that doesn't really matter a lot either, like rivers don't really matter. Frozen ocean, frozen river. Snowy plains is just like an extension of plains, I guess, just in the snow. So we took out plains, so we'll take out snowy plains. We'll leave the mountains, mushroom fields, shore, beach. Beaches are kind of everywhere. Desert hills, we'll leave windswept forest. I'll leave that for now. No, and all's windswept forest is what? It's just a forest that is like a little bit higher up or something like that. It's just forest with slightly higher elevation. Taiga hills. Jungle is interesting. We'll leave jungle. Deep ocean we'll take out. Stony shores. We'll leave that in. Snowy beach we'll take out. Birch forest is just forest with a different tree. Dark oak forest we'll leave that in for now. Snowy taiga is just taiga with snow. Old growth pine taiga is just taiga. Just taiga. Wooded mountains. Sure, we'll leave that in. Savanna we'll take out. Let's leave Badlands in. Should we leave Savannah in? There's nothing in the Savannah. Except acacia trees, right? We might add them back in. Badlands, Badlands. Warm ocean, take it out. Ocean, take it out. Ocean, take it out. Ocean, take it out. Take out all the ocean stuff. Sunflower plains. Armadillos and wolves. Okay, we'll add, what was it? Savannah? We'll add Savannah back in for now. Ice spikes. I think ice spikes kind of have like an interesting aspect to them. Let's leave ice spikes in. Taiga mountains, we'll take that out. Flower forest, we'll leave that in. Gravelly hills, we'll leave that in. Desert lakes, we could take that out. But if they made the biome smaller, what would I do with the 9,000 block long train rail I built in a near Savannah I could find? See, God, I hate that. I'm telling you, dude, this is generally one of the bigger problems. It's got to be. Old growth birch forest. That's the one with like the really tall birch trees. That's kind of cool. We'll leave that in. Tall birch hills. I guess those go together. Snowy taiga. Find tall grass in Savannah villages. Old growth spruce taiga. We'll get rid of that. Bamboo jungle is cool. Lush caves. We're not going to see that above ground, so we're going to take that out. Grove. Like cherry. Is that cherry grove? What's it? What? Oh, grove. Okay. I know what that is. Dripstone caves. We could take that out. Meadow. Snowy slopes. Frozen peaks. Okay, that's the mountain. We'll leave that. Jagged peaks. Stony peaks. Deep dark. We could take that out. Mangrove swamp is definitely an interesting one. Cherry grove is interesting. Pale garden is interesting. Without giving us a choice. Okay. So like we've removed a lot. What is this? Old growth birch forest. Dark forest. Dark oak forest. Okay. So we've eliminated many biomes that are just your common, I would call them like regular biomes, right? The ones that like just take up a crap load of space. And this is what we're left with. We got dark oak and dark oak forest on either side. You have to travel out. How far? Can we set this at 0, 0? It just makes it easier. Just set this at 0, 0. Was there an option way back to select larger biomes on console edition? Maybe. Yes. And I think Java had, maybe still has that option or something. I don't know. Okay. So I don't know. What is windswept hills? Here, let's do this. Let's eliminate some more. So we get to just the stuff that like is newer and or interesting in some manner. That's different. A hill's a hill. A snowy mountain's a snowy mountain. The peaks are cool. Snowy mountains is just a mountain. The mushroom stuff is cool. Desert hills, no. Mountain edge, no. Jungle, yes. Jungles are cool. Stony shores, I like them because they have a lot of like, hey Iris. There are several seeds that have all biomes within 1,000 blocks, but you're saying like several seeds in a world where there's an infinite number of seeds. Like what percentage of seeds are we talking here? I'm guessing a fraction of a percent. Dark forest. Wooded mountains, we could take that out. Badlands we'll leave in because that has some unique stuff, right? But let's take out the wood. I guess we'll leave wooded badland, all the badland varieties. The gravelly hills are really interesting. Flower forest. Is there really anything here that I don't know. We'll leave it in. Swamp hills, ice spikes, jungle, old growth. We're going to take the birch forest out. It's just birch trees. They're just taller. Snowy taiga mountains. We'll take that out. Gravelly mountains. I like those. Savanna, badlands, jungle. Grove biome is cool enough, I think. And meadow, we'll leave those in. Frozen peaks, jagged peaks, savanna, pale garden cherry. Okay. I think everything else is good to leave in. Okay. Where's our... Let's take these out. It's cluttering my map too much. The ruined nether portals, like once you find one or two, you don't really care about them anymore. Jungle temples are rare. Desert temples are rare enough. Ravine. Shipwreck, we'll take that out too. And outposts, we'll take those out. And then, oh, here's 0. Let's send to the map there. What is this, cherry? So there's a cherry grove biome that you would travel from 0. Wait, is that not 0 again? Why does it keep moving my map? There we go. So from 0. Oh, this is big. This is plus or minus 5,000. That's a 10,000 block spread. We don't want it that big. That's too big. That's not like, we're thinking like average player traveling around and like exploring. Plus or minus 2,000 blocks, maybe? Like, what would you guys consider like a reasonable enough distance from your base that while exploring and looking for something specific, you'll find it while you're on foot? $3,000 max. That sounds reasonable. Can I back out one more? Two more. 5K or so. 2,500. Isn't there a grid line option? Where's that at? Maybe this will help us. So, and like when I think of my kids won't travel this far. We'll look at it in two different ways. We'll look at it and like, I think this is like a better, broader sense. Like this is a 6,000 block spread across and a, just about 3,000 block spread vertically. So way on the outskirts here, you have a cherry grove that if you're lucky, you might find. What is this? Badlands and desert. Okay. There's like a sliver of badlands on the edge of a desert over here. You have dark oak forest over here and you have jungle over here. So you can find jungle, you can find dark oak. You have savanna, you have swamp, but I don't think you have, what's the other swamp? The mangrove swamp. You don't have mangrove swamp. Flower forest right there. In the cherry grove biome. What is this? More savanna. So what are we missing? No mushroom. No mushroom biome. Maybe there's some stony shores in here, I think. We're missing badlands to any large degree, but at least it's there. But like, you're not going to get a lot of stuff from these badlands. They're too small. You're missing. You don't have ice spikes, which are kind of cool to see. I think you have some of the peaks in here, so I think that's good. No mangrove swamp. Right? This is just all swamp. Yeah. No mangrove swamp. You'll maybe find that cherry biome. No pale garden. Wait, no, there probably is, right? Yeah, there is pale garden. That's good. And then yeah, structure wise, what are we missing? No woodland mansion. There are ocean monuments. Oh, where's is Stronghold? Why is Stronghold not here? Oh, Stronghold. Let's turn Stronghold on. There's got to be one, I would assume. And sure, we'll turn on Ancient City because you'll want to find those. We know trial chambers are everywhere, so we don't need to turn that on. They're all underground, but they're there, right? Okay. What is this? What are you? Oh. There's a couple ancient cities that you could find. Underneath, I'm guessing these are mountains. Nope, this is just under a birch forest. No woodland mansion. Which I'm for sure we wouldn't see, of course. Does anybody see a stronghold? I mean, at least you have an in-game way to find one. But there's no stronghold here. Yeah, no stronghold. How far out do you have to zoom to find a stronghold? Here it is. I guess it's not terrible. Oh, and there's one too. And then there's one down here. Okay. Here, I want to try an experiment. Let's just random a seed. Another seed. Okay, we're at spawn point. Look at this one, interesting. Huge mangrove swamp. You got cherry grove. You got... I don't think you have... Is there no dark oak in this one? What's this? Okay, dark forest. Pale garden. Like super duper tiny one right there. Is this dark oak? No pale garden in this one. Here's more dark oak. With no pale garden. And here's more dark oak. With no pale garden. There's a small mushroom island. I'm not seeing. There's a little bit of jungle off in the distance there, a couple thousand blocks away. I guess like the main way we should think of it, like this is a big area. I think I would like to be able to see a lot of this. These grid lines are too much. In a much smaller area. Like if it were me, right? This is just me being me. You guys might disagree. It's fine if you do. But like when I think about seeing biomes, like of course, like the more you zoom out, you can make it look like, oh dude, there's biomes everywhere. Like, what are you talking about? Like, look at all the biomes all over the place. But like when you get more into like an in-game type level, something like this, where we're talking about only like 1,000 blocks out in each direction. And like what you're like actively like in the area of at any given point in time, the biomes are just they're so big, right? Turn highlight biomes off real quick. No, we'll turn it back on. The biomes are just so large. Look at this one. What is this? Is this all frozen? Oh, this is just warm ocean. And then let's say you spawn in this world and you just moved offshore, right? Or moved onto shore. And like you get out here, you got desert, forest, like a ton of forest, a huge like savanna biome. How big is this thing? -900 to +600 across. So like almost a couple thousand blocks. Big Badlands biome. What is this? Wooded Badlands. Huge Badlands biome. Look at that. That thing's enormous. Look, this Badlands biome takes up this whole area. You have desert into Badlands, into more Badlands, into more Badlands. And then it kind of changes into savanna, which doesn't look very different. And you do have this bamboo over here, which is kind of cool. What did Lindsay say? Usually the biome that I don't want to build in that are the biggest. No interesting like structures or anything in this area. Another random seed. Here we have like almost nothing. A meadow, a mountain that's kind of cool, and a tiny cherry grove. Nothing else within what range are we? A couple thousand blocks of the player. Zoom out some. There's Pale Garden and stuff. Yeah, of course, like the further you travel out, now you're gonna find a little bit more and a little bit more, but like I don't know. Anyways, I think my point stands that like I don't think it conveys well when you look at a map, but like my point kind of stands that like when you're in the game and like you're building something and you're doing stuff, just the biomes are just so massively large that you don't really regularly see throughout your normal gameplay much else outside of like the biome that you're in and maybe a second biome out in the distance. I would personally make them a lot smaller. All right, guys, thanks so much. See you later.